guys, this is Katie with Vintage and Vinyl, back with another great video for you today. And in this video, we are taking a look at my hat collection. Now, I did do a little video on Instagram, a little reel of my hats, but that wasn't long enough. So I thought it would be fun to do an in-depth video on my YouTube channel featuring all the different hats I have from the different colors and styles and brands, and of course sharing some of my very favorite, most prized hats which belong to my grandpas. So, all of this and more coming right up. Okay guys, so we are back in my closet taking a look at my hat collection. Now, I thought about pulling all these hats down one by one and showing them to you individually. And I thought, Katie, that is silly. You've already got them all beautifully arranged by color and by style, and really it would just be a massive pain to put them all back. So I am taking the easy road today and actually just taking you in my closet and showing you how I organize my hats and tell you a little bit about them. Now, I did do a reel on Instagram featuring these, but they were really just kind of a fun little reel. So I'm going to go more in depth in this YouTube video. Now, most of the hats I have been sent to me from sweet subscribers or their special family heirlooms or hats that I've bought myself. And most of the hats in my collection are from a company called BRUNO CAPELO. Now, I am not sponsored by BRUNO, but I just love their hats. I discovered them one day online looking up colored hats. Found that they came in an array of colors that were just so fun and lively. I ordered one and it really was just a match made in heaven. They fit my head perfectly. They were well made, they were at a great price point, and I've just been buying them ever since. Now, most of these come from either BrunoCapello.com, which I will link down below. They always have sales around Christmas time and around Easter. They're running a sale, I think, right now, which is great. I also get them from a guy on eBay called Suits in Style, and he deals in BRUNO hats. It runs great sales, ships promptly, and is wonderful. So those are kind of my two sources for BRUNO hats. Now, I have a lot of hats, so I'm just going to show you the different styles and colors, and I'll kind of talk about them as we go along, and kind of hopefully you'll see the differences between, say, a fedora, a Panama, or Hamburg hat. Most of the hats I wear are short brim fedoras. Now, fedoras can come in wider brims. I just find that the short brims tend to look better on me, and they're just a little easier on camera because there's not such a wide brim where things are creating shadows. Now, I actually do wear these hats every day. They're not just a YouTube thing. I do wear them every day because I just love hats. The minute you put on a hat and a brooch, you've instantly elevated your style. It's just amazing what a hat and a brooch can do. You could have the plainest shirt on the planet and you put on a hat and a brooch and it's just an outfit, and it's the easiest thing to do. It takes no effort at all, which I absolutely love. Now, I just feel that most people these days aren't wearing as many hats. I do think they're starting to come back, but I really love the comments I get when I'm out about my hats, because a lot of people seem shocked in a very good way, like, oh wow, that's a cool hat. Like, they never thought that hats could come in this many colors or styles or designs, and it's just fun. I like that. Now, I'm going to show you this side of the wall, and we'll just sort of work our way up. I don't have my hats in any special hat boxes. I just don't have the room. I live in a one-bedroom, and so literally all of my hats are just hung on the wall. I think it's fun when you walk back into my closet, and it's just sort of an array of colors and styles, and it's just very happy and fun. So I don't do anything special, really. I do have cedar back here to prevent moss so that my hats stay nice and they're not, you know, getting moth-eaten, which is a constant problem in Florida. And I do brush them. I have a special hat brush that keeps the wool in tip-top shape. But I do hang them on the wall, and I know a lot of hat collectors are probably yelling at me because I've got just a simple nail, and, you know, they say, oh, well, that's going to stretch out the hat. Well, I've not had that problem. So here it is, real life, my hat collection. Okay, so the first hat that I have in my collection is a wonderful yellow hat. Now, there are two kind of yellow colors I have here. This one's more of a golden sun yellow. And then I've got this fun, cheery, Eastery yellow, which is just a neat color. These are all Australian wool hats. And this one here is made from a felted wool, which is one of the best kinds of
hats you can get. If you get polyester or other hats, they're kind of inferior and they're not really made to last. Felted wool is really some of the best material for hats. Of course, you can go up and get very expensive, and you can get into the world of suede hats or sheep leather, sheep wool. I'll put the name of it down below because I can't remember as I'm telling you, but there is a higher level. But this is one of the better types of materials you can get, is felted wool. So this is that felted wool yellow color. It is by Bruno, and this is in the Giovanni collection. All of these I'm going to show are in the Giovanni collection, so if you do like these, you can go online and find them yourselves. I've got a wonderful lime green hat here. Now on their website it kind of says that it's a mint color. When you get it, it's more of a lime green, but it is just a stunning hat, and it's so cheery and fun. I've also got this light blue hat and then a cobalt blue hat. And I do organize all my hats by color because it's really nice to come back here and say, oh, I have this blue brooch I want to wear. Okay, let me go to my blue section and see what matches it. Or I have this green shirt, a green plaid shirt. Let's see, you think this green would be better or that green would be better? And so I like having them by color because it's really easy for me to just kind of come to the color section and say, okay, I'm going to wear that with this. It's just perfect. And I do try to match my hat and my brooch to the guests that I have on my show and tell, or if I'm going to be on someone else's channel and I know, you know, Patrick, for example, likes travel, I might wear my airplane brooch, or someone else might like the color blue, then I'll wear blue. You know, I really do try to match my outfits to what I'm doing on YouTube, which is fun. I've got a great olive green hat here. And then I've got several of these emerald green hats. Now, this one is a fedora, and if you look next to it, this one is a Panama hat. And you can really see the differences because fedoras have more of a pointed V-shaped crown at the top of the hat. And then Panamas are more wide-brimmed. Of course, fedoras can come in wider brims. I have the short brim versions here. But you can see the different shapes of the crown of the hat. So that's kind of the difference between a fedora and a Panama hat. Now this one is from the Wesley collection, and it's got the really neat bow tie on the side. It's kind of a Christmas color, and this hat I like to call my Kentucky Derby hat. Now it's not as fancy as some of the hats people might wear to the Derby, but I love it, and for some reason it just reminds me of the Kentucky Derby and makes me happy. And of course I love anything with a sharp bow tie on the side. So that is the green hat. I've also got this black hat with a really neat band. This one has sort of a Greek key design on the band, and it's got that fun bow tie on the side. And this is a black and gold hat, and this is a great example of a hat that you can dress up or dress down. You can rock this with a white t-shirt and jeans, or you could wear it with a suit for a nice meal out or a trip to the theater. It's just so fun. And then this hat. Now, this is kind of an area where this is kind of a fedora, but it also does look a little like a pork pie hat, just in the way that that top is shaped. But I know this is not a pork pie hat. It does sort of have that look. This is more of a fedora, and this is the case where it's a little bit more of a wider brim fedora. I love hat bands, and I particularly love grosgrain ribbon hat bands. I just think they're classy, they're stunning, and they're fun. And you guys can let me know what color you think this is in the bottom. This is sort of a mustard color, a mustard yellow. It's just fun, and I love the feather on the side. I just adore the feather. I'm sorry if the lighting's a little dark here. I am in my closet, and I don't have the best lighting or the room to really bring in a whole bunch of ring lights. Now we're coming around my door, and we're going to go down the side of my door. I just have hats everywhere, and I think that's fun and whimsical. This hat is another great hat. I believe this is also in the Wesley collection, and it's a white hat. I love white hats because they just match so much. You know, if you're going to have a hat in your collection and you want to start with a hat, a white hat is a really classic one. White hat, brown hat, and black hat. You have those three, you can really pair them with so many different options of outfits, and this is a great fedora as well. And I do want to point out this hat. This is a raw edged fedora. So you can see here that this hat sort of has a lip, and this hat doesn't. That is what we call a raw edge. And raw edged leather hats can be very expensive. This is just a wool felt hat, but I do like the raw edge. Now that one you're not able to flip down the brim. It just stays in place, which can also be quite nice if you don't want to have that option. You want more of a structured hat. I've also got some fun colors of purple. So this is my lilac hat. It is a fedora, wool felt, BRUNO CAPELO, and then I've got this really fun deep purple hat that I just adore. Now this is my first vintage hat, and this is a fuchsia hat, and I have to say this hat is amazing. This is a Chrisley hat. Now if you know anything about Chrisley hats, you know they're insanely expensive. They are an amazing hat brand from England. They make wonderful hats. I think they've been around since like 1895 or something. They've been around for a long time. But this hat I recently found on eBay, and this is not one of their most expensive lines. This is one of their more inexpensive lines, but it's still very well made. It's got the wool felt, and it's got the pinchable, kind of moldable style of crown up at the top, so you can kind of move it around and see how you want to wear it. It's got the shorter brim with the grosgrain ribbon that I just adore, the beautiful silk lining. And this is Chrisley hats. Okay, they were established in 1773. Just amazing. And this collection of hats is their crown collection. I don't think these are made anymore. I think these came out in the 80s and 90s. But this is a wonderful hat. I really like how simple the side of the hat is. It's got the Chrisley hat pin. I love those little hat pins on the side. I might add a feather to this at some time in the future, but I just love this hat, and it is really comfortable to wear. Now this is one of those hats that were listed in a British size, so they were in centimeters, so I had to measure my head and then do a conversion. And that's really the best way if you're going to pick out a hat. Measure your head, see what size you are, and then you can decide what you want to get. So in most hats I'm a 7 1/4 to a 7 1/8. Or 7 1/8 to a 7 1/4 in men's hats, and I know that in BRUNO hats with their size chart I am a medium, so they have kind of a size chart range. Some hats will just be marked like 7 1/4, and you kind of know, like in Dobbs hats they won large, so I'm this size, or in Stetson hats I'm this size. You kind of get a feel for it, and so I was really taking a gamble when I got this hat, because even though I measured my head, I wasn't completely sure, being that it was in centimeters, that it would fit. But when it came, I mean, this is one of the best fitting hats I have. It is just amazing. Okay, enough about the Chrisley hat. Let's continue our hat tour. Now, these two hats are fun. They kind of look similar on camera, but this one is a light pink color, and then this one's a peach color. It's kind of like a shrimp color. I call this my Florida shrimp hat. It's just so fun to have different colors of fedoras. So this is kind of the outside of my closet door. This is kind of my big collection of hats here. Now, going down this side of the wall where we just were with the yellow hats, I have some very special hats. These are hats that belong to my grandfather, who recently passed away, and he really was one of the other inspirations for my love of hats. Of course, my grandfather Papa, I inherited his hat that I was wearing at the beginning of the video, and his dad's hat, Papa B's hat, which really inspired me to continue wearing hats. I've always liked hats, but that really fueled my spark and love for hats. And then also my grandfather, on my mom's side, Grandpa Jim, wore a lot of newsboy hats, and that really also inspired me as well. And these are his hats here. So I just adore these. He wore these all the time. I mean, you would see him even in the summer rocking these wool hats here in Florida. And he lived in Missouri most of his life, and so the winters are very cold. So he would get these hats that had little flaps and the ears come down. We always called them ears. We'd say, Grandpa, you're wearing your hat with your ears today. Or put your ears down, Grandpa, it's cold. So these flip down and protect your ears, which is kind of really nice in the winter when it's really windy. I think they're so fun, and really it's just an honor to be able to have my grandpa's hats that he wore all the time. He wore this one a lot. This is by a company called Weatherproof. These are very practical hats, but they've got a really soft texture. This is kind of a green and black houndstooth pattern. Oh, he wore this hat a lot, and it's kind of in that newsboy style or golfer hat style. And then this one down here, of course, is red and gray tweed. Now, Grandpa and I both love the color red. It's our favorite color. And so this is a really special hat. And this has kind of got that newsboy golfer style. It's just so fun, and he wore this one too quite a bit. And it's got the fold down ears, but these ears are not as furry, so this one probably won't be as hot to start wearing. The other one I'm probably going to wait until it gets pretty cold, which is rare for Florida, but I'm just honored to have these. Now, this hat here was not Grandpa's, but it really was a hat that I bought in honor of Grandpa. When I was in New York, I went to Macy's, and of course when you go to Macy's in New York, you want to buy something from Macy's, right? And I thought, you know, I could buy a shirt, or I could buy this, or I could buy that, but then I'd grow out of it and I wouldn't be able to wear it. So I thought, what could I get that I would remember the trip and have something I could wear for a long time? And I landed on a hat. So I went to the men's department and I found this wonderful hat. It's a kind of a golfer news style hat, and it's got the ears. So yep, I was honoring Grandpa when I picked this out in New York, and it is just a really comfortable hat. It is by a company called Country Gentleman, which is not their most expensive line. They had some really expensive Stetson hats there, but I picked this one out. It was very reasonably priced, and it is just so fun. So this has been all the way to New York and back, and a great hat that I've worn in some of my videos. Okay, so continuing the hat tour. Now, these hats are my red and orange hats, and I love these. This one's sort of a garnet color, and the other one is more of a true red, like a cherry red. Now, this is the only hat that I have in these felted wool fedoras that is not Bruno Capello. This is by a company called Stacy Adams, and they make good hats. I will say I don't think their quality is as good as Bruno Capello. So I've only bought one of their hats. I do really like this hat, and it's just comfortable, and it's a wool hat fedora. This one is sort of a burnt orange color. I'd love to get like a true orange. That will be my next color of hat I'd like to find. But I love this kind of burnt orange rust color hat. It just goes with a lot, and it's a great kind of fall hat to wear. Of course, I do wear these all year round. I know some people say, well, you shouldn't wear wool hats in the summer, or you should wear, you know, straw hats. Well, I don't have a lot of straw hats because they're itchy. And I don't want to be uncomfortable, so I really do wear these all year round, and I think you can, especially when you get into these cheery yellow and lime green colors and light blue. They just really do work all year round. And then this is my garnet hat here. Now, these two hats came from a wonderful subscriber friend who has a great YouTube channel, Jane at Doggone Happy Vintage. She sent me these, and I cannot wait to wear them. This one is sort of a auburny color hat, and this next one is black, and it's got a really fun, just fancy as all get out hat bow with that little fun gold pin brooch, whatever you want to call it, on the middle there. And I think that this is so fun. Now, this is sort of, I don't know what style. It's not really a bowler hat. It's a lady's hat, but I don't know what style you would call it. I'll insert that in the video, but I just adore these. They are wool hats. They are 100% wool, so they are really top quality hats, great vintage pieces, and they're going to be fun to wear. And this one is actually marked. This other one didn't have a company, but this fedora is made by a company called Lancaster Hats, and they're both 100% wool, made in the USA. Jane, I love these. They have a wonderful place in my closet, and I can't wait to wear them. And this one's a great example of a fedora that's moldable. So you can see how you can crush the top and kind of pinch it and, you know, shape it the way you want to wear it, which is just awesome. I've got two advertisements here for Knox hats and Dobbs hats. This one's for Homburg hats, which is a great style of hat that I really enjoy. And this one is for vintage Knox hats. And I just got a very cool Dobbs advertisement from a sweet subscriber friend that sent that advertisement out of a lot that was bought off a trusty Huckster Mercantile's channel. And I can't wait to get that hung up back here. Okay, so let's take a look at my vintage hats. Now, this mirror here was my grandpa's. It was in his bedroom set, and so it hangs back here. And that is where I look in the mirror every day and style my hats and put on my brooches. And then down below the mirror, I've got my collection of vintage hats, mostly vintage. There is one Bruno hat here. So let's start off with this hat. Speaking of sweet subscribers, Debbie at Our Vagabond Travels sent me this one. And Debbie's got a great channel, so definitely go check out Debbie at Our Vagabond Travels. Every week she has some great sales. She sent me this hat. This is fun. This is the short brim. They're really cool, like Godfather-y stripes. It's got like that fun pinstriping, and I love the hat band. Look at how gorgeous that hat band is. And then I also love the little hat pin on the side. Now this is a kind of a fedora, but it's also shaped similarly to a pork pie hat, which I'll insert a picture of now. It's not exactly pork pie, but it's got that kind of indent in the middle. And I just love this hat. It is so fun and really comfortable to wear. And this one, let's see, is a vintage Gorin Bros hat with a wonderful lining on the inside. I always love the linings. When they're that satiny, silky lining, they're just the best. Now, I also have this summery hat here, and this is by Dobbs. Now, I love Dobbs hats. That's probably next to Stetson one of my very favorite brands of vintage hats. They're just quality. Dobbs they're just amazing. You can look up the history of Dobbs. They're great quality. And this is kind of their summer hat. It doesn't have a lining. It's really lightweight. Great travel hat. This is great because it goes with everything. It's a wonderful kind of creamish white color, and it's got the fun little feather on the side. Now this hat is one of my favorite hats simply because it matches everything. And when I'm wearing a jean shirt and I just need something that I want to throw on and I need to go out the door quickly, this is the hat I reach for. This is a vintage Hush Puppies hat, and it's got the fun little dachshund on the side. Great hat feather there. I love feathers, and I really need to get some more in different colors so I can have fun playing around with them. And it's got the little Hush Puppy lining. Not a very expensive vintage hat. You know, I don't pay much for the vintage hats when I can find them. Some Stetson and some Dobbs in vintage you will pay exorbitant prices, but I've always been lucky to find them really inexpensively online. Now this is another favorite hat of mine, and this is a hat that is not one that was made back in the day as a super high-end hat, but it is a hat that just fits well, and it's really nice. They don't make a lot of hats with these leather hat bands anymore that are reasonably priced, and so I think that this is a great quality hat for its price point. This is a vintage Adams hat. It's the Premier line. Adams was made for more of the lower class working man back in the day, and it still has a beautiful silk lining. It is just a wonderful crushable fedora. This one needs some more brushing, but you can, you know, kind of mold the top here, and it's got the short brim. Just wonderful hat. I gotta add some feathers to this one too. I just love this, and it fits like a glove. It is fantastic, and you can again dress this one up or dress it down. I've also got one of my prized hats in my collection, which is my vintage Stetson. I got really lucky and got this for like 20 bucks off of eBay, which you just don't see for vintage Stetson hats. This is more of it's a suede hat, which is just really high quality. But this is more of a navy color. And I don't have it with my blue section because I kind of try to keep all my vintage hats together for the most part in one section. So this is my Stetson hat. It's got the beautiful striped candy cane lining with that leather hat band. Oh, this one is gorgeous. And this is like the Chrisley hat. I mean, it really is one of the best fitting hats that I own. And then my last vintage hat that I want to share with you is a Knox hat. Now, Knox is another great company of hats. They've got the leather band, that beautiful silk lining, and this is a kind of a forest army green color. It did have a hat band at one time, and Louie, my pug, ate it off. So luckily the hat didn't get damaged, just the hat band, but I still decided to reattach all of the little things that came with it. I think this feather attachment, whatever you'd like to call it, was added later by someone, but it's just really a wonderful hat. It fits beautifully, and I love that Knox Hallmark series. Okay, so let's take a look at the last few hats I've got in my collection. Now, this is sort of my happy wall. I do have a gallery wall in my closet. I know a lot of you guys are like, oh my gosh, that's nuts, but I do. I think it's kind of fun when you come into the closet or any space and you have things that make you happy. And even though you don't think about spending a lot of time in the closet, you do. So I like to kind of add special treasures, and I'll have to do a video on some of my vintage treasures at a later date. This is my dresser where all my brooches are and that kind of thing. And of course there's Kevin the kangaroo. So this hat is a Bruno hat. It is a wonderful charcoal color. I love having different colors of gray because they really do go with everything. They're a great all year round color. Now this spot here is empty because I am wearing the hat that usually goes here. This is the center of my hat collection. That is my Grandpa Papa's hat that I just adore, that Dobbs hat with that beautiful suede kind of caramel brown color. It's just wonderful. So this is where Papa's hat always goes, and right when I come into the closet I can see it and think of Papa and smile. I've also got that hat below his watch here, so when I come in I see his watch and his hat, and I'll tell you guys the story about this Mickey watch sometime in a future video because it's just really special. Now the last couple of hats I'm going to share with you today are just fantastic. These were my grandpa's hats, Papa. And this one is a Homburg hat. Now you can tell the difference in style between the Homburg and the fedora next to it because the fedora's got more of this V shape and this Homburg is more oval and has that kind of like ovally shape going around the top of the hat brim. This is a vintage Newport hat. I don't think Papa wore these a whole lot, but they are fun. And this is a tweed herringbone pattern, light gray with that blue and kind of orangish color in the hat. And this is a really great winter hat. I wear this a lot in the winter. And then this hat is extra special because this belonged to my great-grandfather, Papa B. And I actually have a photo of him in this hat. I'll insert that here so you can see this. He wore this hat a lot. And this is a really nice Chrisley hat made, it's just a wonderful brand of hats, made in Warwick, England. And it's just so amazing. And Chrisley made such great hats. And this one is a 7 3/8, but you know, it fits me really well. So you never know with vintage hats. Sometimes you can be in between multiple sizes, but no wonder I like Chrisley's hats. That's because my great-grandpa's hat is Chrisley. We called him Papa B. So that's Papa B's hat. I've also got a few, you know, ball caps. I won't really show those, but I do wear those if I go to the beach or to, say, a concert of some kind and I want just a, you know, knock-around hat. I'll wear that. And then I've also got my top hat back here that I wear when I dress up as Columbia from Rocky Horror Picture Show. So that is my hat collection, guys. I hope you enjoyed seeing it. It's so fun to see different hats. Now you're getting a real look at my closet here. I do try to keep things very organized, but it is a small closet, so I kind of just have things, you know, packed in here. but I love the different colors of hats. It's just so much fun, and I hope you enjoyed this tour.
All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me today and seeing a great tour of my hats. I hope you'll let me know in the comments down below what your favorite hat was. And of course, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me out. And of course, before my next video, I'll be catching you all on Instagram at vintage_and_vinyl with some fun sneak peeks. So as always, I hope you guys will stay in, stay safe, and Vintage YouTube. Bye-bye now.